What is up, everybody? Omega Brick Productions here, and welcome to the first episode of A Lego Look Back. Lego Star Wars has been around for over 25 years, and today we're going to be taking a look at every single 1999 Star Wars set. Let's jump right into it. First up, we have set 7101 Lightsaber Duel. This set came out April 1st, had a total of 52 pieces, retailed for $6, and currently goes for about $95. It included two minifigures, that being Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn. Overall, I think these are great minifigures. Good set, good price. Just the build is a little weak, but I don't think it's the focus. I think the value is in the minifigures here. And so good set overall. Next, we had set 7110 Landspeeder. It came out February 22nd, had 49 pieces, retailed for $6, and currently goes for about $94. The minifigures included are Luke Skywalker and an old Ben Kenobi. This, in my opinion, is a pretty weak build. The Landspeeders that we have today really just show how much that this build has aged. And the colors don't match. I know it's what they had for the palette back then, but there's not really any play features. You can just kind of swoop it around. I honestly think this is one of my least favorite sets of the wave. For $6, I think this is a much better build than the previous set, but like I said, not really my favorite. Next, we have set 7111 Droid Fighter. This set came out May 17th, had a total of 62 pieces, retailed for $6, and currently goes for about $45. There were no minifigures included in this set, and I think because of that, it's my least favorite set. This is the same price as those previous two sets, but with no minifigures, it just, to me, does not have the same value. Plus, the build is pretty weak. It's really small, it's really simple, and not a great set overall, in my opinion. We've had much better versions of Droid Starfighters. This is the only Phantom Menace color scheme version of the Droid Fighter that we've gotten in Lego Star Wars, but overall, not my favorite set. Next, we have set 7121 Naboo Swamp. This set came out April 1st, has a total of 82 pieces, retailed for $10, currently goes for about $87, and came with a total of 4 minifigures, 2 battle droids, Jar Jar Binks, and Qui-Gon Jinn. I think the stat builds, though a little blocky, are pretty well done, all things considered. I think it has some good playability with the 2 battle droids going up against Qui-Gon. The terrain there just adds a bit of fun. The set reminds me of the battle pack we got a few years ago of Ki-Adi-Mundi and Barriss Offee and 2 clone troopers. Just kind of an early version of a battle pack. This would retail for about $20. How many sets today can you get 4 minifigures for $20? I think it's a great value, and I'm pretty happy with this set. One thing I also want to mention is that the alternate build for this set has a really funny picture where the battle droids are like hanging on to a custom built speeder, and I just think it's a funny look overall. Next, we have set 7128 Speeder Bikes. This set came out March 1st, had 93 pieces, retailed for $10, and currently goes for about $85. It included a Luke Skywalker minifigure and 2 Scout Trooper minifigures. To me, this is a decent set. I thought the speeder bike builds are moderately good. Not great by today's standards, but overall pretty good builds. And I think the playability of this set is awesome. With the 2 speeder bikes, the option to put Luke on one of them, it is a very playable set. The minifigures are good. It's a good price. This would have been worth about $19 today. And so I think it's very, very playable and a very good deal at that price point. Jumping to set 7130 Snowspeeder. This set came out February 22nd and has 215 pieces. It retailed for $20 and currently goes for about $128. It came with 3 minifigures, Luke Skywalker, Dak in their pilot gear, and a Hoth Rebel Trooper. I love this build. My grandma actually owns this set, and I remember playing with it when I was young, and it has set a precedent for snowspeeder designs for years to come. It was a great model. It had the functionability. It was very swoopable and very playable. And I think our minifig selection here is a great combination. This set nowadays would retail for about $38, which I think is pretty reasonably priced. I think this is a great set overall. Next, we have set 7130 Anakin's Podracer. This came out April 1st, has 136 pieces, retailed for $15, and currently goes for about $63. It has a total of 3 minifigures, including Anakin, Padme, and a pit droid. And to me, this set is a little bit overpriced. Nowadays, it would have retailed for about $28, and it just does not seem to have as solid of a minifigure selection, especially when some of those early sets were getting 3 minifigures for $6. I just don't feel like this has as much value. The build is pretty blocky, but I actually think it works despite how blocky it is. And one thing that I think is interesting about this one is Anakin has a gray helmet in this set rather than the brown helmet that they've often used in later versions of Anakin's podracer. And I definitely like the gray helmet. It's a lot more screen accurate than some of the other versions we've got, but those are my thoughts on this set. Next, we have set 7140 X-Wing Fighter. It came out February 22nd, had a total of 266 pieces, retailed for $30, and currently goes for about $259. It included 4 minifigures, including a Pilot Luke, a Pilot Biggs, R2-D2, and a Rebel Technician. This is a great selection of minifigures, and the build is amazing. Once again, I remember my grandma having this set at her house, and I tried to put it back together and play with it, and it's a good, decent-sized X-Wing. The price is amazing. $30 back then is about $60 now, and I can't remember the last time we had an X-Wing with this quality retail for that cheap. I know we had one that retailed for about $50 a couple years ago, but to me, the build of this one is just so much more realistic and spot on. The color is a little off. That was probably due to color palette limitations back in the day. I think it looks like an X-Wing. You can tell it is an X-Wing. And this is definitely one of my favorite sets of the wave. The little sidecar build of the carrier car is also a great addition to the build. And I just love this set. This is a classic, great LEGO Star Wars set. I also want to mention that in the instructions with the alternate builds, there's actually an example of a lightsaber, like a brick-built lightsaber. Those have gotten more common in recent years, but it amazed me to learn that back in 1999 they were thinking about building brick-built lightsabers, which was something I had never thought about. And then it looks like there's almost a Zillo Beast-looking creature in one of the comments, even though the Zillo Beast wouldn't have come out into the Clone Wars series many, many years later. So just some interesting things to notice about the back of the instructions of these old 1999 sets. Coming up next, we have set 7141 Naboo Starfighter. This set was released April 1st and had a total of 179 pieces. It retailed for $20 and currently goes for about $116. It included 4 minifigures, Anakin, R2-D2, and 2 battle droids that come with like rocket launcher looking classic blasters. Overall, I think it has an okay build. This is one of my favorite ships in Star Wars, and the blockiness doesn't quite capture the sleekness of the design, but I think it's okay. I think it's really cool that R2 fits in the back. That's a huge plus. I know in some of the early LEGO Star Wars sets, you'd have to take the head off and put it in the back, but the full body of R2 fits in the back of this set. It does have a really weird side build. I don't know what exactly it's supposed to be, if it's like a ammo truck or like a ramp to get on. It doesn't really make sense. I think it might be a ramp. It's just a really weird looking side build. But overall, I think this is a good set. A good set to come with the release of the Phantom Menace back in 1999. And I think any young kid would be happy with this set back in the day. Moving on, we have set 7150 TIE Fighter and Y-Wing. This came out February 22nd. Has 409 pieces. Retailed for $50. And currently goes for about $173. It included 3 minifigures, Darth Vader, R5-D4, and John Dutch Vander. This set is the first ever two-in-one set, where there are 2 ships that come in one set. We've had a lot of these throughout the years. The most recent one that comes to mind is the Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus the TIE Interceptor. The playability of these sets is just through the roof. You and a sibling can get one ship, fly around, have space battles with each other, or maybe you just have a space battle with your hands. And I think that that's an awesome part about this set. Definitely the most playability of any set. I think it's fair priced. Its price adjusted for today would be about $94, $95, which seems to me fair for a 2-ship solid bill Lego Star Wars set. That Mandalorian Fang Fighter set that I mentioned earlier retailed for $100. The only thing that's kind of a hiccup for me is I feel like it could use some more minifigures. Especially back then where they were including minifigures for a lot cheaper sets. The X-Wing that we mentioned earlier was only $20 cheaper but had just as many minifigures as this set. And so I feel like it really could have used some more minifigures. It doesn't really make sense for the set, but I would have appreciated some more minifigures. The Y-Wing is a pretty blocky model. It's making me realize how far the Y-Wing design has come over the past couple years. Not bad, like you can tell it's a Y-Wing, but it's a pretty blocky model. Something I just have to mention is the tie color of Vader's tie Advanced is just super weird. I know there's some nostalgia just because that's what we like. That's if you especially grew up playing the complete saga, like you just have the nostalgia of that black and blue color scheme, but it makes no sense. It does not match the in-movie designs at all. And it's purely just a Lego take on something. So nostalgic for Lego purposes, but I am not upset that they have moved to correct the color because it really does not match the movie designs at all. This set also came with some pretty wacky alternate builds in the back of the instructions. There's like a weird spaceship thing and like a scorpion tank, and Darth Vader has this really weird box vehicle in the back. There's another buildable lightsaber design in the back. It's definitely worth taking a look at the back of the instructions to some of the wacky builds that they have here. Next we have set 7150 Sith Infiltrator. This set came out April 1st, had 244 pieces, retailed for $30, and currently goes for $213. It included one minifigure, with that being Darth Maul. I don't really have any attachments to this ship. The Sith Infiltrator is never something I've been too fond on. This build, to me, is not aged well at all. It's very blocky. The color scheme does not really match at all with what the Sith Infiltrator, and it just has none of the sleekness that the actual ship had. And so to me, this is not a great model. The lack of minifigures is also a big open sore on this set for me. Only having the one minifigure at a $30 set feels like a ripoff with some of the great minifigures that you've had in many of the other sets throughout the 1999 year. And so I think that's kind of a ripoff. The landing gear to me is not the greatest. It's a good way to get Darth Maul, but to me it's way more worth it getting him in that cheaper $6 dual set. Set number 7161 Gungan sub came out April 1st, had 379 pieces, retailed for $50, and currently goes for about $261. It came with 3 minifigures, Jar Jar Binks, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Qui-Gon Jinn. The Gungan sub is a set that we have not gotten a lot in Lego Star Wars. I really like the build of this one. It's pretty close and accurate to the on-movie version, despite some of the blockiness. The minifigures in this set feel great to me, especially when you have the addition of the Rey in the set as well as the side build. I feel like it's a little overpriced, coming in at $50. I would have liked to see this set at about $40. It retails for just under $95 today, and that is a lot of money for what you see here. And so I feel like if it was a $40 back then, it would be much more reasonable. I think there's a ton of playability. It actually can separate into 3 different vehicles, which I think is a really fun addition to the build that really adds a lot of playability. And of all of the back of the instructions, this one to me is the funniest comic to go through. They have alternate builds in the back that include a literal snorkel mask and a giant goober fish that you can build. You don't get these things in Lego Star Wars anymore. This is so fun, and I wish they would do more of this in modern Lego Star Wars. It is what it is. Just one of the things I love about these 1999 sets. Finally, we have set number 7171 Mos Espa Pod Race. This set came out April 1st, has 896 pieces, making it the biggest set of the wave. It retailed for $90, which is about $170 today, and currently goes for about $374. It included 10 minifigures: Anakin Skywalker, Jar Jar Binks, Padme, Qui-Gon, R2-D2, 3 pit droids, Sebulba, and Gascono. This set is awesome. It is a great set, and the minifigures are awesome. It is a great selection. You have the whole crew. Very playable with the 3 different pod racers that you can go around. I don't know if we've ever had another version of Gasgano's pod racer. I think this is the only version of his pod racer that we've ever gotten in Lego Star Wars. It does feel a little bit pricey. Retail back then for $90, and today, like I said, it'd be $170. This does not feel like $170 in value to me. It feels like $120, maybe $130, $140 at most. But with the amount of minifigures, it's good. And I actually really wish Lego would remake this. If they made a UCS Mos Espa spaceport that had like the gate and pod and many of the pod racers, I think that would be an incredible set, hands down. The builds of all of them, I think, look fine. Sebulba's pod actually captures the shape pretty well. I think Anakin's pod is the weakest of the 3 pods for me. But I think it's a super fun set. Once again, there's a comic in the back. I wish Lego would remake this. Now, summing the whole wave up, this is the tier list that I have for it. These are just my thoughts and my opinion. You can disagree. I think the X-Wing, the Snow Speeder, and that Mod Espa pod race all come at the top. Amazing sets. I think they've aged very well. And then the Vulture Droid coming here at the bottom is just not a great set in my opinion. But this is my tier ranking for the 1999 year. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe below if you'd like to see more Lego Look Back content like this. And don't forget, stay super studs. See ya, guys.